Have you ever wondered why you ended up right here, right now, listening to this exact message? Do you feel that stirring in your spirit, that undeniable pull that whispers, "This is not random"? Could it be that heaven itself orchestrated every step, every delay, every closed door, just to bring you to this very moment? This isn't coincidence. Chosen one, this is divine alignment. God has been weaving threads through your story. Even when you couldn't see the pattern, He carried you through storms that should have drowned you, pulled you out of fires that should have burned you to ashes, and opened doors that no human hand could have unlocked. Every tear you shed, every prayer you thought was ignored, was actually a setup for this encounter. Heaven has been preparing you for something greater, something sacred, a face-to-face moment with the living God. And here's the truth: you won't meet Him in the way the world imagines, not just in thunder, lightning, or dramatic explosions of power, but in the heartbeat of your everyday life, in the silence of your room, in the courage you didn't know you had, in the light breaking through the cracks of your pain. That's where the Almighty reveals Himself. And when you stand in that holy presence, you will never be the same again. You'll step into clarity, strength, and purpose that will silence every doubt and every lie that ever tried to chain you. So lean in. Chosen one, this message isn't to flatter you, it's to prepare you. You are about to encounter the very God who chose you before the foundation of the world. Type 777 inches. The comments, if your spirit already knows this word is for you. And let me pause to thank every single one of you who has been supporting this channel, whether through your prayers, your shares, or even through super thanks. Your love fuels this mission. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next will shake your understanding of divine encounters to its core. This isn't just about inspiration, it's about transformation. The next words may change the way you see your walk with God forever. Are you ready? Let's go deeper. God's chosen ones. This isn't coincidence. You're about to meet God face to face. No mistakes are powerful enough to erase the hand of God over your life. No doubts are loud enough to drown His voice. No weak moment is final in His story for you. People live under the crushing weight of performance, believing they must speak the perfect words, feel only holy emotions, act flawlessly, or risk being cast aside by heaven. Yet the reality is far more shocking. This is not how God measures you. And this is not how He sees His chosen. As Psalm 103:13 declares, as a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion to those who fear Him. Have you ever wondered why your worst failures did not cause heaven to abandon you, but instead seemed to draw God closer to your trembling soul? This is because weakness is not a barrier but a magnet for divine mercy. The throne of grace is not built for the faultless, but for those who dare to come with empty hands. And it is often in those empty hands that heaven places its greatest treasures. The kind and forgiving Creator is not looking for robotic perfection, but for a heart that beats with authenticity. He does not delight in a staged performance. He delights in presence, in the raw cry that rises from your spirit. Imagine this: a parent who withdraws love simply because a child spilled juice or knocked over their toys. It is absurd. If you are a parent, you know that when your child screams in pain or stumbles in weakness, you rush forward instinctively. You scoop them up with urgency. You wipe their tears without hesitation. Does not the gospel echo this truth in Romans 5-8? But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. If human parents move toward the hurting child, how much more will the Father of creation move toward you in the moment of collapse? Love that is conditional is not love at all. It is a contract. But divine love is covenant, sealed in blood. Unbreakable, eternal. This is the kind of love that has never once failed and never will. This is the paradox of grace. What feels like disqualification in your mind becomes the very invitation for God to reveal his tenderness. In art, Michelangelo once carved the unfinished prisoners, figures trapped in marble, struggling to break free. Many critics saw imperfection, but the sculptor himself believed the figures already lived within the stone. Could it be that God sees you not as a mistake-filled slab, but as a masterpiece still being revealed? And if the sculptor doesn't discard the marble when cracks appear, why would the master of the universe discard you when your weakness shows? For in every crack, light seeps through, and in every imperfection, the glory of God finds a place to rest. Grace is not given to the perfect, it is the fire that shapes the unfinished. And if the greatest artist never abandons his work midway, how much more will God finish the good work he began in you? History itself proves that weakness is not rejection, but preparation. Take Pope John the 23rd, who admitted publicly his many flaws, joking that God must love him, especially because of them. His humility opened a floodgate of reform and compassion in the Catholic Church. If the leader of millions could confess frailty without losing divine assignment, what makes you think your stumbles have cancelled heaven's call? The truth is written in Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed. For I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. The weight of calling is never placed on human perfection, but on divine empowerment. God does not choose the flawless. He chooses the willing, the ones who surrender. And in that surrender, human weakness becomes the stage for divine strength to perform its wonders. Your weakness is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of resonance. Physics teaches that resonance occurs when one object's natural frequency amplifies another's sound. When your broken cry reaches heaven, it vibrates at the very frequency of God's mercy, amplifying his presence in your life. Could it be that your trembling, far from silencing heaven, actually creates the loudest echo in God's heart? Brokenness becomes the soundboard where mercy is multiplied. The faintest whisper of surrender is louder in heaven than the strongest shout of pride. And when heaven resonates with your cry, miracles are not far behind. The scriptures remind us of Peter, who denied Christ 3 times. By human measure, he was disqualified. Yet Jesus not only forgave him but commissioned him, "Feed my sheep," John 21:17. The denier became the rock on which the church was built. If Peter's betrayal could not erase his destiny, or what sin or stumble of yours could possibly overpower God's eternal design? His story shows that failure does not displace you, it propels you. Out of denial came destiny, and out of ashes came authority. The cross was not the end of Peter's calling, it was the place where his true mission began. The world of nature mirrors this truth. The redwood tree, towering for centuries, begins as a fragile sprout that bends under the slightest wind. Yet, in weakness, its roots grow deep, locking into a network of unseen strength. Is your life not the same? Every stumble driving you deeper into the soil of God's grace until you stand unshakable. Fragility is not failure, it is formation. The greatest strength often hides in the seasons where you feel most vulnerable, and like the redwood, you will not stand alone, for God has designed your roots to intertwine with others in the body of Christ. And yes, there are those who stand as villains, embodying the lie of performance and cruelty. Take King Herod, who in his pride ordered the slaughter of the innocents to protect his throne. His obsession with control led to destruction, but his name is now remembered with shame. Contrast this with the Christ child he sought to kill, fragile, hidden, yet destined to reign, whose legacy endures. Does this not prove that fragility in God's hands outweighs the power of the proud? Pride is a foundation that collapses under its own weight, while humility builds a kingdom that cannot be shaken. And history has always testified that the hand raised against God's plan will eventually be broken by it. Even in music, the truth resounds. In Handel's Messiah, the chorus rises with the words, "For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth," a declaration of triumph written in a time of personal financial collapse. Handel's weakness birthed a composition that shook kingdoms. Weakness became symphony, brokenness became worship. Is it not striking that the greatest song of triumph came from the ashes of despair? This is the mystery of grace. It composes music out of mourning, and it weaves eternity into the fragments of human struggle. And sometimes the clearest examples come not from saints or artists, but from ordinary souls. Rosa, a seamstress in a forgotten village, once said, "My hands shake, but my prayers do not." She stitched garments by candlelight after long days in the fields, raising her children alone after tragedy. Her neighbors saw a weary woman. Heaven saw a warrior whose trembling prayers upheld her family. Does her life not prove the words of 2 Corinthians 12-9? "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Ordinary faith carries extraordinary weight. Rosa's unseen battles became the architecture of miracles her children would one day walk in. Her story whispers to you today, your weakness is not wasted, it is a seed of legacy. So, chosen one, do not let shame convince you that you are abandoned. Every stumble is a summons. Every weakness is a doorway to encounter. Every tear is counted in heaven's architecture, woven into the eternal blueprint of your destiny. Today the call is not to hide, but to rise. Rise not because you are flawless, but because the God who called you cannot fail. Stand, because your brokenness is the very altar where His glory descends. Stand, because your story is not ending in defeat, but beginning in resurrection. And when you rise, the world will know that grace has the final word. In the way a father instinctively stretches out his arm to steady the unsteady steps of a child. That is what love in its purest form looks like. Love does not wait to be perfect. It responds before words are formed, before mistakes are corrected, before the fall is complete. Yet why is it so difficult for so many of us to believe that God, whose heart is infinitely more kind than any earthly father, feels the same way toward us? Why do we let the shadows of sadness, the storms of doubt, or the sting of failure convince us that He is moving away? The truth is revealed in Psalm 34-18. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Could it be that your darkest moments are not the barriers you imagine, but the very magnets that draw His presence closer? It is in those fragile seconds when you feel most abandoned that heaven is already leaning toward you. His closeness is not dependent on your strength, but on His unchanging character. And the more fragile your steps, the more intentional His grip becomes. He is not repelled by your mess. He is drawn toward your honesty, your rawness. The places where masks are torn away. The prophet Isaiah declared in Isaiah 57:15, I dwell in the high and holy place, and also with him who is of a contrite and lowly spirit. If the Almighty himself dwells with the broken-hearted, then is it not clear that your tears are not wasted, but welcomed, just as a mother bird leans into the nest when her chicks cry in hunger? So God leans into your weakness. The sparrow's song, though frail, fills the sky with music in the same way. Your cry of desperation fills heaven with resonance. Could it be that what you thought was disqualification was, in reality, your invitation? Honesty is the bridge between your humanity and his divinity. Raw confession becomes the melody heaven cannot resist. And every cry born from weakness becomes a trumpet that summons his mercy without delay. The story of the prodigal son proves this unshakable truth. When the son returned, dirty, hungry, unworthy, the father did not hesitate, but ran to him, embracing him before he could recite a rehearsed apology. Luke 15:20 records it plainly, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. Does this not show us that God is not waiting at a distance with folded arms, but running toward you in your return, like the roots of the olive tree that grow deeper when pressed by rocky soil? Your failures only deepen his pursuit. Grace has legs, it runs faster than your shame. Mercy has arms, they open wider than your guilt. And forgiveness has a voice. It drowns out every whisper of condemnation that tried to convince you that you were unwanted. Yet history has also given us the warning of those who rejected this truth. Emperor Nero, consumed by arrogance, believed his cruelty could replace compassion. He mocked weakness, crushed the poor, and silenced truth. And what was his legacy? His empire burned, his reign collapsed, and his name became a curse rather than a crown. Pride repels love, but humility attracts it. Which path will define your life? Nero's destruction or the prodigal's redemption? The legacy of pride is always ashes, but the legacy of humility becomes eternal fruit. What Nero destroyed in his arrogance still speaks centuries later as a warning, while the simple story of the prodigal son continues to inspire hope across the world. The choice is laid bare. One builds ruins, the other builds redemption. The Apostle Paul confessed the same mystery when he wrote in 2 Corinthians 12:10, For when I am weak, then I am strong. Strength is not the absence of weakness, it is God's presence manifesting within it. Like rivers carving valleys through unyielding stone, your brokenness becomes the channel through which his living water flows. And the more cracked the vessel, the more places his light can shine through. Could it be that your brokenness is the very architecture heaven uses to display glory? Weakness is not wasted, it is recycled into strength. What you thought was your downfall becomes the very scaffolding where God builds your destiny. And in the echoes of your struggle, eternity writes songs of triumph that no enemy can silence. So, chosen one, do not despise your weakness, and do not believe the lie that your sadness or doubt disqualifies you. Your honesty is the altar where heaven descends. Your tears are the ink with which God writes his promises, and your stumbles are the doorways through which grace walks in. Today is not the day to retreat, it is the day to rise. Rise because he is running toward you, not away. Rise because his love does not recoil from your flaws, it redeems them. rise. For you are the one he has chosen to meet him face to face, not in perfection, but in truth. And when you rise, you will discover that the very cracks you hid in shame become the places where his glory shines the brightest. Stand with courage, for heaven's gaze is already fixed on you. Stand, because your trembling steps are steadied by his everlasting arms. He is not waiting for you to have every detail of your life perfectly aligned before he shows himself. The Father has been walking beside you in every season, through the weight of your frustrations, in the numb silence of your nights, and in the secret conversations you whisper to yourself when no one else is there to listen. Psalm 139:7 already assures this reality. Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? Could it be that the very moments you assumed were barren were, in fact, sacred spaces where he was closest, like an architect hidden behind scaffolding, sketching unseen blueprints? He has been constructing strength inside you while you thought nothing was happening. And what is architecture if not the unseen structure that makes the visible possible? Your life has been under divine design long before your eyes could see it. The silence of heaven has not been absence, but foundation work. Even when your voice cracked under disappointment or your heart felt like stone, his presence was quietly resonating in the background of your soul, like a frequency that continues to hum beneath the noise of chaos. Romans 8:38-39 declares, "For I am sure that neither death nor life, nor angels nor rulers, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God." Why then do we imagine distance, when in truth he has never taken a step away? Could it be that silence was not abandonment, but preparation for revelation? As a violin string tightened by tension releases its most powerful note, has your pressure been the very thing tuning you for his song? And if resonance in physics means one vibration strengthens another, is it not possible that your fragile prayers have been amplifying heaven's response all along? The pain that felt meaningless may have been the very calibration of your destiny. He is preparing to reveal himself not through thunder and lightning that dazzle the skies, but through the intimacy of presence that overwhelms the soul. Elijah learned this in 1 Kings 19:12, when the voice of the Lord was not in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in the gentle whisper. Have you noticed how the whisper often carries more weight than the shout? Precisely because it requires stillness to hear. In psychology, this is what we call the paradox of attention. The less noise, the more powerful the focus. Might it be that your restless waiting has been the threshold for a holy encounter that will break in quietly but change everything loudly? The same way a chess grandmaster wins not with dramatic moves, but with quiet, precise ones. So God secures victory in silence before it manifests in sight. Your waiting has not been wasted. It has been the strategy of heaven unfolding with flawless timing. Nature echoes this same truth. The sunflower does not chase the lightning bolt. It turns silently toward the slow rising of the sun, absorbing light with steady devotion. Does your soul not resemble the sunflower, drawn not by spectacle, but by the consistent warmth of his nearness? In the same way, the ocean's tides rise and fall at the pull of the unseen moon, so your spirit has been moving at the gentle rhythm of his unseen hand. And just as glaciers carve entire landscapes over centuries through silent persistence, God has been shaping you with quiet but unstoppable force. The strongest transformations often happen without applause, in the hidden rhythms of daily surrender. The scriptures are filled with this pattern. Jacob wrestled through the night, and in his exhaustion he found himself face to face with God. Genesis 32-30. Mary Magdalene wept outside the empty tomb, and in her brokenness she became the first to witness the risen Christ. John 20:16. If their midnight hours were pregnant with divine encounter, why would yours be any less sacred? Could your exhaustion be the veil through which glory is about to shine? Often, breakthrough is birthed at the edge of collapse, like dawn arriving at the darkest moment. The wrestling of Jacob left him limping, yet that limp became the mark of his encounter. Your scars, too, may become the signatures of God's nearness. And it is not only the great names of Scripture, ordinary lives today carry the same testimony. Elena, a schoolteacher from a small town, once shared how she would sit alone at night after grading papers, whispering to God through tears of exhaustion. She thought no one heard. Yet in those nights, she felt a peace that held her together. And years later, she looked back and realized those quiet moments had built the architecture of her resilience. Her story proves the words of Deuteronomy 31:8. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. And is it not remarkable that the same God who sustained Jacob in the desert and Mary at the tomb is the one who sustains a humble teacher in obscurity? Heaven values hidden faith as much as public victories. The unseen devotion of the ordinary often becomes the pillar of extraordinary futures. But there have always been those who refused this gentle revelation, seeking only spectacle. Pharaoh demanded signs, hardened his heart, and in his arrogance he drowned in the very waters God used to deliver his people. Is this not a warning that chasing thunder while ignoring the whisper can blind us to salvation itself? Revelation is not always loud, it is often subtle, precise, and transformative, like a surgeon's hand reshaping the heart. And history proves that pride deafens the ears, while humility sharpens them. Those who demand fire may miss the flame flickering right before them. To despise the whisper is to despise the doorway of transformation. So, chosen one, stop waiting for lightning to validate his nearness. The presence you crave has already been stitched into your story, woven into your nights, and breathed into your hidden sighs. Every lonely whisper has been a conversation for eternity. Every unanswered cry has been absorbed into the blueprint of his timing. Today, stand up. Stand because you are not abandoned, you are accompanied. Stand because the whisper is already at your door, preparing to ignite a fire within that no storm can quench. And as you rise, let your weakness become the stage where his strength is displayed. Let your silence become the chamber where his voice resounds. And let your trembling become the testimony that heaven has always been near. Do not waste your days waiting for the sky to split with thunder or for a stranger to suddenly appear, speaking flawless prophecy as if heaven itself descended in spectacle. The true encounter is not always wrapped in the dramatic, it often hides in the ordinary. Jesus himself said in Matthew 6:6, "When you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you." Could it be that God has been whispering to you through the common, through the unnoticed, while you kept searching for fireworks in the heavens? When a child's innocent laughter rises beside you while you are stuck in traffic, does that not carry the echo of a Creator who delights in simple joy? When calmness washes over your spirit in the middle of a day that should have shattered you, is that not the hand of God steadying your soul? And perhaps the greatest miracles are not when heaven shouts, but when heaven proves it can sit quietly with you in the chaos. To dismiss the ordinary is to risk missing the holy thread weaving through your daily life. This is the art of faith, to see him where most eyes pass by blindly. In John 1:14, it is written, "And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us." God clothed himself not in grandeur, but in the fragile, vulnerable skin of humanity. Why would his presence now be different, hidden in the fragile laughter, the quiet moments, the unexplainable peace? And yet how many souls miss him because they are waiting for lightning instead of recognizing the flicker of a candle? Could the extraordinary be veiled within the ordinary, so that only those with hearts awakened by faith can perceive it? The art of faith is like training the eye of an artist, learning to notice the details others ignore, and to capture the sacred hidden in shadows. When you refine your inner vision, even silence becomes a cathedral, and even interruptions become invitations. The great French painter Georges Rouault once said, "Art is a wound turned into light." His words ring true in the divine mystery. God transforms the cracks of your ordinary days into beams of revelation. That surprising calm you felt was not weakness, it was architecture, the divine scaffolding holding your soul upright when you didn't know how you were still standing. Philippians 4:7 describes it, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Is it possible that peace itself is the proof of his nearness, guarding you when logic said you should have collapsed? Peace is not an accident, it is the resonance of heaven tuning your soul. Like hidden foundations under a cathedral, it carries the weight of storms without being seen. And when you realize peace is his voice, you stop chasing noise and start receiving strength. Nature itself bears witness. The firefly does not light up the entire forest, yet its glow in the darkness is undeniable. In the same way, the smallest trace of God's presence in your daily life has the power to outshine despair. Why should we despise the small moments of grace when they hold the same essence as the great miracles? Jesus reminded his disciples in Matthew 17:20 that faith the size of a mustard seed could move mountains. If a tiny seed carries mountain-shifting potential, then what could your fleeting moments of unexpected calm contain? The firefly teaches us that light does not need to overwhelm to be authentic. The seed teaches us that size does not limit destiny. So too, the hidden touch of God may seem small, but it contains eternity's strength within it. History also warns us of those who demanded signs and missed the truth. King Ahaz, in his pride, refused the sign the Lord offered him, Isaiah 7:12. And in his rejection, he lost the peace that might have saved his people. Pride blinds the eye to subtle grace, while humility awakens the vision to divine fingerprints already present. Are you willing to see God in what you already have? Or will you keep waiting for lightning until peace passes you by? Those who despise the whisper end up enslaved to noise. Those who wait for fire often miss the gentle flame that could have warmed them. And those who reject the quiet sign may never recognize the roaring victory when it arrives. Even sacred music captures this lesson. In Bach's Jesu, joy of man's desiring, the melody is not explosive but gentle, weaving a tapestry of quiet devotion. Its power is in subtlety, not in thunder. So too with God's presence, it comes not to overwhelm your senses, but to anchor your spirit. 1 Kings 19:12 reminds us again, "And after the fire came a gentle whisper." Could it be that the whisper has always carried more power than the roar? A roar fades, but a whisper lingers. A roar may shake walls, but a whisper penetrates the soul. This is why heaven chooses whispers they are impossible to ignore once they reach your spirit. And this truth is not confined to saints, painters, or composers. It belongs to ordinary people. Lucia, a seamstress in Naples, once said to her granddaughter, "I knew God was with me every time I felt calm while holding a broken needle." She never saw visions, never heard thunder, but her life was shaped by those quiet assurances. Her testimony is proof that the unseen whispers are enough to carry a life through storms. God does not need to shake the earth to prove himself. Sometimes he only needs to steady your hands. And in Lucia's calm, there was more revelation than in 1,000 voices of doubt. Ordinary lives often hold extraordinary lessons for those willing to listen. So, chosen one, open your eyes, not to the thunder, but to the sparks already burning around you. Do not wait for lightning to split the sky. God is already here, woven into laughter, folded into silence, hidden in your breath. Today, rise and declare that you will not miss him in the ordinary. Rise, because every unnoticed detail may be heaven's masterpiece in disguise. Rise, for the art of seeing God where others overlook is the true victory of faith. And as you rise, let your daily life become the gallery where his presence is displayed. Let your quiet moments become your loudest testimonies. And let your ordinary days become the very stage where extraordinary grace takes center. To feel heaven's hand is not always to hear thunder shaking the mountains, but sometimes to sense the invisible thread holding the fragments of your life together when everything seems to collapse. That thread is grace, subtle, unseen, yet unbreakable. Isaías 41:13 declares, "For I, the Lord your God, hold your right hand. It is I who say to you, fear not. I am the one who helps you." Could it be that the very thing preventing you from falling apart was never your own strength, but his unseen hand weaving stability through the chaos when you thought you were abandoned? Was it not that same divine thread keeping your soul from unraveling? That thread is like the root of an oak tree hidden beneath the soil. No one notices it. Yet it holds the entire giant upright through centuries of storms. And the longer you stand, the deeper you'll realize his grip has always been beneath your foundation. If you close your eyes on what you lack, even for a moment, and open them to what already surrounds you, your perspective shifts. Psalm 23:1 whispers, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." The absence you mourn may pale beside the abundance you already carry. How often do we measure blessing by what is missing instead of what is present? And yet, when you take inventory of breath in your lungs, strength in your bones, and mercy renewed each morning, are you not already standing in wealth no coin can purchase? Gratitude becomes like light passing through stained glass. It reveals colors that were always there, but hidden until the right perspective shined upon them. Could it be that joy is not the arrival of something new, but the awakening to what has always been with you? You are already more blessed than you realize. You are already being guided, though the compass may feel hidden. Proverbs 3:6 confirms this. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Could it be that every closed door was guidance disguised? Every delay, a detour protecting you from unseen harm. The subtle signs of God are not weak, they are strategic. Like a lighthouse beam, barely visible at a distance, but strong enough to steer ships from destruction. His guidance is the unseen force, keeping you aligned. Does not your spirit testify when peace holds you back from a wrong step or propels you into courage? Think of how rivers curve around mountains. They are redirected, yet still flow to the sea. Could your delays and redirections not be the rivers of your life, still finding their destined ocean? and you are already surrounded by signs subtle to the natural eye, but deafening to the spirit. Romans 1:20 reminds us, for his invisible attributes, namely, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world. The wind that bends the grass, the stillness of dawn after a storm, for the sudden thought that gives you peace. These are not coincidences but coded messages. The butterfly's fragile wings guide it through thousands of miles of migration. The salmon swims upstream against impossible currents to return home. Could your life be moving with the same unseen current? Drawn by divine instinct planted in your soul, the stars themselves move in silent order, creating constellations that sailors once trusted to navigate vast oceans. If creation obeys subtle signals, how much more are you being guided by the divine hand shaping your path? Yet history warns us of those who ignored these whispers. Belshazzar, king of Babylon, feasted arrogantly while signs of his downfall were written on the wall. Daniel 5:27 recounts the verdict. You have been weighed in the balances and found wanting. His blindness to subtle warnings ended in sudden destruction. Are we not at risk of the same fate when we demand thunder and ignore the gentle handwriting of God across our daily lives? Pride waits for earthquakes. Faith recognizes whispers. Those who crave noise miss the voice in silence. And the lesson remains: arrogance blinds. But humility allows us to discern the writing on the walls of our own stories before it is too late. The truth is undeniable. You are already immersed in guidance, already held by an unseen thread, already walking within a garden of blessings you scarcely recognize. John 16:13 assures, when the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all the truth. If guidance is already promised, why wait for a sign written in fire when your soul already hears it in whispers? You are walking on sacred ground, though it may look like ordinary soil. Every step you take is within the architecture of his eternal blueprint. And when you realize that, life no longer feels random, it feels orchestrated. So rise, chosen one. Rise not because thunder confirmed it, but because the thread never let you fall. Rise because you are already guided, already blessed, already walking in a field of invisible miracles. Rise and declare that you will not wait for storms to prove God's nearness. You will live awake to his fingerprints already all over your life. And as you rise, may your awareness sharpen to see the divine in the ordinary. May your soul grow bold enough to treat each moment as holy ground. And may your courage to stand be the testimony that others need to believe that God is nearer than they imagined. God does not confine himself to temples of stone or cathedrals of glass. He does not limit his presence to pulpits, choir, or sermons wrapped in polished words. He comes in tiny confirmations, the kind so personal that only your soul knows they were meant for you. Deutéronomie 30 et 1 contre 6 promise. The Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Could it be that the meal you thought you were too weary to prepare was not about food at all, but a gentle reminder that you were sustained beyond your strength? Was it not grace that carried you through the ordinary task when exhaustion had already declared defeat? Like the hidden beams in architecture that no one sees, but that hold the entire structure. His unseen strength has been the framework, keeping you standing in your weakness. And if beams can hold skyscrapers against earthquakes, how much more can his hand uphold you when life shakes? His presence is not occasional, it is structural, embedded in the very fabric of your existence. He shows up in the friend who called just before despair convinced you to surrender. That voice on the line was more than coincidence. It was the orchestration of divine timing. Eclesiastes 4 contra 9:10 tells us, "Two are better than one, for if they fall, one will lift up his fellow." Could it be that the very reason your friend remembered you at that exact moment was because heaven whispered your name into their spirit? Psychologists speak of synchrony when two hearts align in timing without prior planning. If human research affirms that invisible frequencies bind us together, how much more is heaven weaving threads of connection to make sure you are never abandoned? And when you look back years later, don't those small calls and gestures shine brighter than grand speeches? God's orchestration is not in the noise of crowds, but in the perfect resonance of one voice arriving when you needed it most. He shows up in the tears that finally fall after weeks of holding it together. Those tears are not weakness, they are release. Psalm 56:8 reminds us, "You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book?" Each tear becomes a frequency of prayer, resonating louder than words. Why then do we hide them? When heaven counts them as treasures, your tears are the rain that waters the soil of breakthrough. Without them, growth would be stunted. Just as rivers carve valleys into mountains through steady streams, your tears carve space in your soul for God's presence to flow deeper. And like rainfall that softens hardened ground, tears soften the soul so that seeds of faith can take root. In every drop shed, heaven sees both your pain and your preparation. You say you want to meet God, but where do you expect Him to appear? Do you wait for sermons, conferences, or grand altars when He has been sitting with you at the edge of your bed? Last night, when you were too tired to pray, but somehow whispered His name, was that not already the Holy of Holies? Matthew 18:20 declares, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I among them." If His presence dwells where names are whispered, then could your tired breath have been the very incense rising before His throne? The kingdom of God does not always break in with trumpets. Sometimes it comes like oxygen, silent, unseen, but sustaining everything. And just as athletes know, the quiet pause between battles strengthens them for the next fight. Your whispered prayer in exhaustion is the pause that arms you for tomorrow's victory. Could it be that the bed you thought was your weakness has been your secret sanctuary? And yet history reminds us of those who rejected this quiet nearness. Saul, the first king of Israel, sought God through spectacle, ignoring obedience in the small. In 1 Samuel 15:23, the prophet declared his downfall. Rebellion is like the sin of divination, and arrogance like the evil of idolatry. His obsession with performance caused him to miss the whisper of obedience, and the throne was torn from him. Is this not a warning that waiting only for grandeur can blind us to the holy already standing at our side? Pride demands signs in the heavens. Faith recognizes the hand on the shoulder. And when pride deafens the ears, subtle confirmations sound like silence. The tragedy of Saul is not that he lacked God's presence, it is that he lacked the humility to perceive it. This reality is not reserved for biblical figures alone. Maria, a nurse from a rural village, once confessed that her clearest encounters with God were not in church services, but in hospital corridors when she whispered, "Jesus," while cleaning wounds. In those moments, she said, she felt a calm, stronger than exhaustion, and a presence closer than breath. Her story proves that God inhabits the margins of daily life, the hidden corners of effort where no one else is watching. James Fire Otter affirms, "Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you." Could it be that the most sacred encounters are already happening in the very places you dismiss as mundane? And is it not true that hidden faith often carries louder resonance in heaven than celebrated displays in public? Maria's simple whisper was no less holy than a priest's sermon. It was the architecture of devotion built in the silence of duty. So rise, chosen one. Do not chase the thunder in temples while ignoring the whisper in your bedroom. Do not wait for prophecy when His presence has already wrapped around you in silence. Rise, because your bed has been as sacred as the altar. Rise, because your tears have been counted as prayers. Rise, because the God you long to meet has already met you in the smallest details of your life. And when you rise, carry this truth. Holiness is not far away, it is here, stitched into every ordinary breath you take. Let this realization be your strength when the world demands proof. Let your life become the cathedral where His presence echoes. And let your rising testify that no chosen one has ever been left alone. Start with the ache in your chest, that heaviness you felt when you wanted to give up, but something within you whispered, "Just hold on one more day." That whisper was not weakness, it was the breath of God sustaining you when your own strength was gone. Isaiah 40:31 declares, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Could it be that your refusal to collapse in that moment was proof that heaven had already intervened? When you can see Him in that ache, yes, in the place you thought was empty, you begin to see Him in everything. The ache becomes architecture. It builds the foundation of endurance. And is it not true that what felt like the breaking point became the birthplace of resilience? You begin to realize He is present even in what breaks you. Because what breaks you is also shaping you. Romans 8:28 confirms, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Have you ever noticed how the sting of rejection redirected you to something greater? Or how the weight of sorrow birthed unexpected compassion within you? The hammer that strikes the iron does not destroy it, it forges it. Could your pain be the blacksmith's fire refining the steel of your spirit? Just as the oyster turns an irritating grain of sand into a pearl, your trials are transforming into treasures you cannot yet see. This isn't about waiting for some grand encounter in the future. It's about realizing you have already been walking in one. Jacob, after wrestling all night, suddenly realized he had been face to face with God, saying in Genesis 32:30, "I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered." Could it be that your sleepless nights, your whispered prayers, your weary endurance, you have already been holy encounters? You don't need thunder, you only need awareness. Faith is not always about asking for more. It is about perceiving what is already in motion. And isn't it humbling to know that your very survival is the evidence of His nearness? You don't need to clean yourself up first. You don't need to put on a mask or perform spiritual perfection. Psalm 51:17 says, "The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O God, you will not despise." Could it be that your rawest state, the version of you crying on the floor, the version of you doubting silently, is the very place God desires to meet you? Grace is not earned, it is received. And like a seed breaking open in the soil, your brokenness is what allows new life to emerge. In physics, pressure creates resonance, amplifying the faintest vibration into a forceful sound. So too, your broken cry has amplified heaven's response. And maybe that's what this whole season has been teaching you, to pay attention to what's already true. Jesus said in John 14:18, I will not leave you as orphans, I will come to you. Every tear, every silence, every moment you thought was wasted has been a classroom of presence. The Italian poet Dante once wrote in The Divine Comedy, "In the middle of the journey of our life, I found myself within a dark wood, for the right way was lost. Yet even in the dark wood, the journey was already holy." Is this not the same for you, that in the confusion of your path, holiness was still guiding you? But history gives us warnings too. Jezebel, in her defiance, sought control and spectacle, mocking the quiet obedience of God's prophets. Her end was not glory but ruin.